I think it's very obvious that it's like a Christmas themed video, but I'm so sorry that it is coming out after Christmas. The timing just did not match up. And because Christmas is like the season of giving, I thought that I would make a video about metallic watches, specifically under 5,000. And this is a series that I would like to continue on my channel, maybe covering different types of watches and different price points. So let me know if I should keep it going or not. I have tried to include a lot of watches from like a lot of different brands, but you cannot really get automatic watches below 5,000. So all of these watches are quartz. And I have also included both analog and digital watches. So let's start with Fastrack. The Fastrack NS2404S M01, and this is a watch for women because of its case size. Its case length is 27.7 mm and case width 29.5 mm. There is nothing going on in this watch except its like bracelet and all. Like there is nothing on the dial, no other features like a chronograph or a date display. But this is currently retailing for 3,595 because it's 20% off, but even its original MRP is 4,495. It is branded under Fastrack, but Fastrack is owned by the parent company Titan, so it comes under the Titan umbrella itself, and so does this next watch, the Titan Sonata NS7140QM01, and this is a men's watch. Again, you can see on the dial there is no additional feature like a chronograph or a date display. It is just a plain analog watch. Next, another Fastrack watch from their exuberant collection, the Fastrack 3281K M02, and this also has similar features like a day subdial, 24-hour subdial, and a date subdial. This watch also has other color variants like this one in the brown. Both of these retail for 4,135 with 10% off, but the original MRP is 4,595. But this black variant actually retails for a bit higher. It retails for 4,405 and the original MRP is 4,895. Also, I chose this Fastrack Exuberant watch because of its bracelet. Like, look at that bracelet. I did not even talk about this in my own video because it's so rare and this is the first time I'm seeing this. It's kind of like a hybrid bracelet. Definitely going to catch people's eye. If you want a simple but stunning watch, then this is the one for you from the Titan Karishma collection, the Titan 10038 SM01. And just look at that dial. Oh my god, it is just so beautiful and such a rare sight. Like, I have never seen a dial this type anywhere else. There are also other color variants in this dial, like this green one, which retails for 4,395. This black one which retails for 4,595, and of course this blue one which retails for 4,095. Also, if you look at it clearly, you can see that there is a date marker on the dial, and it is not like a subdial or a date window. It is another unique way of telling you the date. So you can see this circle on the dial, that is for dates, and it uses a red arrow marker. Moving on to another brand, Timex, and I really could not find a lot of watches under the 5,000 mark, but this is the one that I found, the Timex TWEG18432, and I specifically chose this because the amount of dial colors that it offers. So here you can see the green dial color, but there is also this deep blue, yellow, Tiffany teal type, and this red color, all retailing for 3,195. Moving on to the brand Casio, and I'm going to be starting with a watch that I actually have reviewed on this channel, the MTP 1314, and I have reviewed this one in the white dial with this detailing on the dial itself, so it's not completely plain. This retails for 3,395 along with the blue dial and its black dial variant. But there is also this variant with gold accents not only on the dial but also on the bracelet itself, which retails for 4,495, a little bit higher than the normal silver bracelets. Moving on to the MTP 1302DS, and though you might think that this is very similar to the Timex watch, there is a date window and it's quite a similar looking watch, but it's not. When you compare them side by side, you will see that there is a difference in their lugs. The Timex watch has just like plain lugs, but this Casio watch has lugs that replicate a Tissot PRX. And that is why, because of its replication to a Tissot, it is so popular. But just like the Timex watch, you can also get a lot of color variants in this, and more than the Timex actually. So of course you can get this yellow dial, purple, pink, creamish, dark green, dark blue, black and brown dial. And also this Tiffany colored dial, which was so popular at one point between watch enthusiasts that it was constantly out of stock, but it is not anymore. So if you did want this before, now is a great time to get it. All of these retail for 3,995, except for this one watch variant, which is this mother of pearl dial, and it retails for 4,995. As I wanted to include a lot of varieties of watches in this video, I also included a tank. This is the Casio tank LTP1234, and on the website it is mentioned that this is a tonneau case, but I do not think that it is, because a tonneau is more barrel shaped. It has much more rounded edges, while a tank is completely just rectangular, so this is more of a tank shape. And yes, there are also a lot of color variants like this light blue, peach, white and brown dial. All of these retail for 3,695 and have the same case size, 32 mm length and 21 mm width. I just showed you a tank, and I also mentioned how it is not a proper tonneau. But this is a proper tonneau. This is the Casio LTP1169N, and look at that shape. That is more barrel shaped. It has more rounded edges and it is not strictly rectangular. And yes, this also has many variants. You can get this white dial with silver bracelet and black dial with silver bracelet, both for 3,495. But if you do want gold accents, then you can get this one, which has a golden creamish dial with a silver bracelet, and this one which has a gold bracelet but a silver dial for 4,995. This is a watch with a very unique dial, and I think clearly you can see that this checkered dial is not very common. Again, you can get a lot of variations in this. You can get this black metallic bracelet with green dial and black metallic bracelet with blue dial, but you can also get the same thing with golden bracelets. All of these retail for 4,395, but there are cheaper versions of this. For example, this one with the blue dial and silver bracelet, and this green dial with silver bracelet, both retailing for 3,795. Moving on to the last watch from the analog lineup that I have created. This is the Casio MTP VD01D, and I think you can clearly tell that this is more sporty than any other previous watches that we have looked at, because it even has R markings on the bezel and it is much more bulkier looking. This also has a lot of color variants like this yellow one, this dark green, purple, red, Tiffany blue, teal and this greenish color. All of these retail for 3,395. But if you do want this in like just a simple black or blue color, then you can get it for a lot cheaper. You can get it just for 2,995. There is also this variant with gold accents retailing for 3,995, and this the most expensive variant with a black bracelet and black dial retailing for 4,195. Moving on to the part of the video which I would actually be more interested in, digital watches. And the first one that I'm going to be talking about is the A700WE-MS. This is retailing for 4,995, and it is quite different from other like digital watches because you don't really get to see this steel accent used for like majority of digital watches, and also it has a negative display and a mesh bracelet. But because it's a digital watch, you can obviously get a lot more features like an alarm, a chronograph, a 12 and 24-hour display, etc, etc. Next, what I would want to call the world time section of this video, because I have three watches here. The A500WGA in the gold and silver variant. The gold is more expensive, of course. It retails for 4,995, whereas the silver retails for just 2,695. Both of these have the same functions, and they're also very unique looking because there's a world map on the display itself, and obviously they offer a large variety of features. But if we are talking about world timer watches, then how can we not talk about the Casio World Time, the Casio Royale, the AE 1200. This retails for 3,395 and is of course one of the most iconic and most popular watches that Casio has ever released. Moving on to the A1200WE, which retails for 4,495. And again, this is a very unique looking watch because of the buttons on the display itself. The teal and the purple are more unique colors. And this watch is different than the others because instead of having operating buttons on the sides of the watch, they have it on the display itself. Moving on to the AQ800E. This is an Ana Digi watch. That means you can get both an analog display and a digital display in one watch. But other than that, you can also get timers, alarms, stopwatches all in one. This also has a lot of color variants like this white, greenish, both retailing for 4,795. This blue color which retails for 3,995, and the cheapest among these, this one with the black graph and this with the white graph, both retailing for 3,795. A watch that is also very iconic, the Casio Data Bank. And Data Bank is such a unique watch because it can actually store telephone numbers, hence the name Data Bank. This retails for 3,095 and it is completely metallic. And it is quite a big watch. Like the case length is 50.4 mm and the case width is 37.4 mm. And of course, if we are talking about metallic, affordable and durable watches, then how can we not mention the A158, A159 and the A168. And among the three, the A158, which I have here on my wrist, is the cheapest. It retails for 1,695 only. The A159 retails for a bit higher, 1,995, and that is because this has a Jubilee style bracelet which is more scratch resistant and it was made in Japan. But the most expensive among these three is the A168. It retails for 2,695 and that is because this watch is an illuminator. That means it has a backlight, and I think this iconic trio brings this video to an end. I hope you found something for yourself or for someone else, and I know that Christmas has already passed, but I hope that maybe you can add some of these watches in your wish list or save them for gifting later. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for more.